What's up, everybody? Hope you're all feeling good. We're going to be live streaming from my apartment today. Home to set up a bit. It's going to be a different home studio, not today, but later in this week. I had to stay home so I could collect those deliveries. Going to have a great setup here, but I wanted to make sure I still came to you. Now, we got to talk about some Ethereum. We got to talk about what's going on with ETF. We got to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. I hope you're all feeling good. We're going to be diving into this here in just a few minutes. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's get into it. Let's see who we got in the house. We got the members here pre-stream. I want everybody to get involved right now. Roll call. Let's do it. We haven't done it in a while pre-stream. We got Sawtooth Hiker, Alex Green, Crimson Caravan Company. Me and Crimson had a nice conversation this morning talking about things. It's always great to connect with all you people because we are family. This is community. Big love to you. Alexander G, how you doing? Indie Rock Crypto. Atropine, how you doing? Maybe a Band-Aid. Electric. Eclectic, I can't read it. Eclectable. Sorry, the screen's too small. I can't really see it. Justin Eubanks, how you doing? We got the whole crew's in the house right now. B Team Crypto, how you doing? Big love to each and every one of you. You know what? We got some things to talk about today. We're going to be breaking down some of these charts. We're going to be being positive. We're going to be being encouraging. We're going to set this off. So what are you grateful for? Ask yourself that before you get to the charts every day. If you start with gratitude, you start coming from a place of abundance rather than needing something to happen in the charts. This works in all aspects of our life. So let's do it. We're about to get into it. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're tuned in from. Welcome to my house. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kelly Kellum. I can guarantee you if this is your first time, it's not going to be your last time because this is a place positivity. This is a place of tools. This is a place of resources. This is a place more than anything of community. Yeah, we talk about crypto. We talk about charts. We break down targets. We show you how to get the setups. We show you what's going on in this market so that you can make the best decision for yourself, because who knows what your needs are, what your timeline is, all these different things you need to understand. So when you're pulling this information from me or Frankie Candles or Crypto Face or Tom Crown or Investing Bros or Discover Crypto, you're using all those different places that you're drawing from to be different avenues of information that you put together in your head and say, this is what's best for me. And whatever that is, it could be a long, could be a short, could be a 5-minute trade, could be a 5-month trade, could be a 5-year trade. I'd like to urge and encourage each and every one of you to figure out how you can stack into longer term portfolios more often than you're doing. Regardless of what you're doing, I guarantee you there could be more, because we will see over time that it's great to take on the different levels of risk exposure that we do when we're trading because it makes us feel exciting. But in reality, you'll see people that have really built wealth do it over time, and they do it into longer term portfolios. So I'm all for the trading. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. But I'm more here for the trading as a mechanism to grow profits to put into my long-term portfolio. And if you haven't mastered trading yet, then I guarantee you right now is not the best time to just throw your entire life savings in and try to double it or triple it in several trades. It doesn't work that way. That's how you lose. That's how I lost big early on. It's one of the reasons why I'm here with you on a daily basis. Not so I can tell you what I know, but so I can show you where I messed up in the past so that you don't have to mess up like I did. And it's up to you if you want to take that advice. None of this is financial advice, by the way. This is all about strategy. This is all about how do we dominate, because we have the biggest bull market, especially on a risk-adjusted basis, in history coming. And it's right around the corner. Some would argue we've already started it, and any pullback we get from here is but a mere dip along the way. It's a rise, retrace, continuation. But when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the middle of that dip, it feels like it's never going to end. And golly, I just bought the top again. But that's what this is all about right here. You and me and everybody else that's here. I want to see everybody get involved in the live chat right now. Seriously, I'm not joking. Write something you're grateful for in the comments right now. It forces your mind to go to a place of gratitude. And if your mind goes to a place of gratitude, you can operate from a place of abundance. If you operate from a place of abundance, you become less needy. Needy in the charts, needy in relationships, needy in all those things. That just diminishes what the potential outcome can be in any of those situations. So yes, trading, money, crypto, we want it. We want to stack those profits, but do we want to do it at the cost of just our ego being satisfied because we're in a trade? Or do we want to do it at the cost of sometimes being a little more patient than we want to or thought we could do, but letting something develop, letting something build into a setup that really fulfills that stoplight action protocol, fulfills where you get those 3 green lights at minimum, those points of confluence, whether it's a level, whether it's a trend, whether it's the strength, all these things add up to good decision or bad decision based on probabilities. So that's what this is about. And we're going to dive into this. We got some things to talk about today. So let's go ahead and jump on into the chart. Make sure you're giving me a follow here at Kelly Kellam, Kelly, Kellam. But coming over here into the chart, 4-hour chart, we're looking right here. Let's get down to the small time frame because some of you were on this chart earlier today and you saw this happen. Holy moly, it looks like everything, the world's in and it's about to go down to $31,000. Is it? Not on the 7-minute chart. We had a large dump here, V-shaped recovery back up, and we have a higher high from this range that we broke down from. Now, does this mean we can't go down to 31 or 33 or somewhere down there? When we're looking at the 7-minute, the 31 or 33 isn't even in the conversation. When we're looking at the 7-minute, we're saying what's happening in the trend in the very near term. When you're looking at the very near term, you don't really need to be thinking about what's the ultimate low of this breakdown on here. When you're looking at a 7-minute, 15-minute, even hour chart. Now, when you get up to the 4-hour and you're looking for a more substantive trade, something that can do work for you over time, develop, then what we can see here is, first level down is right here coming down. We've already kind of tested it. We haven't quite got down to it, but testing this line here, which basically is from all these lows all the way back across all of this area projected out, is giving us our next area to look for if and when the price does go down. But as we're looking at this chart right now, what I'm seeing when I'm talking about where may this go in the next day and a half, which I know all of you are, want to know what that's about. Yes, I still think it is likely to go down and top that, clear this 39.8, 39.5, where we have billions of dollars of liquidations in this area. Also potentially coming down to this area we circle with this massive support line, a macro support line. Go out to the daily. We see here, let me double click here, and we see right here, this massive line that comes across. Boom, boom, boom. Are we going to get down there? I think so. But when we're looking at the 4-hour chart and we're talking about where this might go in the next day and a half to 3 days, this is looking to me like it's in process of recovering some of this sort of, I don't want to call it a discrepancy, but inefficiency in the market right here. This is an inefficiency. See, when we look at these charts and we see these very quick movements, in this case, on this daily candle, very quick movement to the upside. Here's a great example. Very quick movement to the upside. We recovered some of that and flushed out some of this movement. Similar thing right here. Pushed up right here, very inefficient, just shot up. Well, what we do, we came down and cleared that out before we resolved higher. Similarly, where we're seeing right now, very quick move to the upside. This is on the daily candles. We got a bit of a, it's not a spinning top, but it's a very shift in momentum here. Bullish impulse, bearish impulse, and wicks equally on both sides. Similar thing right here. And then we had that last attempt, liquidity washout right here, which is also a result of what was going on with the ETFs. All the news, the speculation coming to a head, where we get people buying into that news narrative rather than buying into a data narrative. Buying into the news narrative, well, what happens when the news narrative is over? Boom, there's no more buyers to support that news narrative in that moment. So boom, the liquidity washes out, and then we get a bearish expansion to the downside. So in this bearish expansion to the downside, which happened very quickly, we cleared out the inefficiency from this candle, but in so doing, we've created its own inefficiency, and this candle where it just dropped and then dropped a little bit further. We've cleared a bunch of levels here. This level here, previous top of this range, this diagonal resistance level here, which is flipped from resistance to support. Now back, we've lost it again. Not only lost it, we also confirm this as resistance now from flipping it back from support and coming down into this level. Now we're going to be talking about Ethereum here in a moment, but we just had to talk a little bit about Bitcoin, because on these movements as we're seeing right now, what I'm seeing here is this bearish impulse to the downside was a little bit further than expected for retail, right? And on so doing, they're able to trap retail by going a little bit lower, getting people committed short, only to reverse it. And this feels like a little bit of a short time frame reversal, because on this reversal, boom, we've already cleared this previous, I won't call it range, but this candle that we had a little consolidation here before we broke down, and we're now cleared that range. So let's get down to the smaller time frame. Let's look at the 4-hour. This is what I'm talking about. You see this little bit of consolidation, bear flag, really. See flagpole, bear flag, the pennant right here, bear pennant. We had the attempt to the downside. And some people traded this because here's a bear flag. Oh, broke down. So I'm in only to have it reverse on them. Remember, as we still stand on the 4-hour time frame, this is still a bullish trend with the small, remember, rise, retrace, continuation. Well, this is a bit of that retrace right now, and people are trying to figure out if this M formation right here is representative of what we're going to see in this case, of this actually being a reversal or not. That's what people are trying to contest, this narrative between the bulls and the bears. So on this price action, when this comes up, I'm looking for somewhere in this region for a potential reversal. If this is a full, basically smaller, medium time frame trend reversal where we do go down to 33,000, well, then I'm looking for somewhere in this area to be a reversal. If this is just a washout to the downside, then we'll come up here. I'm sure we'll have some interaction with this level, but if we break through this and retest up here, then we can have a different conversation. But as it stands right now, we're looking at this big inefficiency right here. If we turn off all the indicators and look at just the candles, turn off all the lines, we see, look, just very big, very quick movement to the downside. We've got to come back up and figure out where that barrier comes back in for the bears, or when a new bullish impulse comes in to send this back higher. Question is, right now, we got about 70 people in the room, got 27 likes, every single one of you. If you like crypto, if you want this market to treat you well, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, join us here in this family. We got all positivity here all the time, which is, I think, the best community in the space. Everybody's so active here in the chat. Everybody's just so wonderful. We have such a great community in the Discord and everything. And I'll go through this in a little bit, show you some of the calls, some of the charts that have been shared in here lately. But I want to come back over here and talk about a little bit more about Bitcoin. we have this area that we're looking for. Remember, I talked about this area right here, this boxed out area, which, see, this is the previous range. Let's see if that finds any confluence with any fibs. So we're gonna do fibs in two spots, one from the top of the wick and one from the top of the candle bodies right here. So we're gonna go right here, do Option F, and then click on the chart. If you're on PC, it's Alt F. And you see, look at this. This is exactly right where the 382 is. Right where the 382 is. That's if we go from the wick top. If we go all the way down like this, look at this. It's kind of right between the 0.5 and the 0.618, the golden pocket. So either way, we have two different ways we can measure this. And this is always, it's an art form. You have to choose how you want to do it. But this area is an area of interest based on a fib multiple as well as previous price action. In addition to all of this, let's ignore the fib. Let's look at this previous top right here. Rejection, rejection, rejection on the bottom side of it. Look at this. Once we broke through, support on the top side of it, broke through, rejection, 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 break back through, support. This is clearly an area of interest when the price action, if it does come back up into the zone, we need to pay attention to. Now, there's a couple hurdles before we get all the way up there. There's a couple hurdles in that we have not only this previous range high, which is all the way over here, this previous range high, as well as all this support and then flip to all this resistance and then flip to support in this range. This is that area of interest, but we have this main blue hurdle right here that has been formulated all the way back since basically the very beginning of the year, January 1st-ish of last year, 2023. Support, support. We lost this support. Now it flipped to resistance, and this was the barrier for our bullish action to the upside. This is what we're trying to pay attention to. We're trying to use the data from the chart, from the price memory, something that other people are doing as well. So this is somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Who cares why it works? Why it works? It works. And once we've broke through this area, look, now this is all acted as support, 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 and we have lost this key area. So while I'm looking at this box right here, which is this previous range high and this support area in these two zones as well, is we can only get to this if we take out this blue metric. Now, this means two things. For the bulls, if we're able to bump up against this, pull back a little bit, and then break through this, if we're able to take out this level too, then I think we're reattempting these highs back at the $49,000. Who knows? Maybe we'll go beyond that. Who knows what data is going to be coming in from GBTC and IBIT and ARK Invest, 21 shares, and Bitwise. Maybe we start seeing a substantial amount of growth in the flows on those ETFs, which is going to bullishly bolster the bulls. It's going to give them a good positive correlation about what's happening with Bitcoin price, and we will see the price results in higher, but we cannot bet on that because we have no idea what that data is going to be until it's going to come. If I'm looking at this as just a price chart, ignoring the ETFs, we are looking at a very strong bullish trend that has lost a key level right here. And this key level is lost following what looks like a type of trend double top, an M formation. Boom, 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 boom. So there's a couple clues. You want to stack clues. Don't just look to fulfill your bias. I want it to go bullish, so, oh, it bounced here, so it's going up. No, screw that. Stop giving your money away. I mean, I'm happy to take it, but that's not what this is about. Here at BitLab Academy, here at Discover Crypto, this is all about showing you how you can look at the chart and read the signals so that you can stay ahead of the curve and stop giving your money away in poor decision, emotionally charged decisions on the chart. You want it to go up, fine. We've talked about this ad nauseum on this channel time and time again here on the Bitcoin cycles, understanding that this is a halving, this is the most bullish portion of the cycle post-halving, and we've seen also right here halving progress. Where we're at right now, this white box, this is representative in previous cycles of where we are in price in relationship to where the halving is coming up. We've seen two different aspects here. Now, here we had a black swan in this exact time period. Now, remember, we have a lot of geopolitical stuff going on right now. A U.S. ship just got struck yesterday with a missile. We have stuff going on with Iran and the IGRC or IRGC attacking some of the anti-Islamic. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East. So who knows what that's going to mean, but we're also coming into an election cycle year, and we have this halving right here. Now, remember, we had this pre-halving pump that was major from 3,500 up to 14,000, and then this sell-off. That was a 55% sell-off before this black swan. Well, in the previous cycle, and we've talked about this before, but I got to reinstill this in you. This was pretty substantial gains and drops here that fulfilled that 40%. Also here. Also, as this push up right here, right into the halving, this sell off into the halving, what is it? Buy the rumor, sell the news. This is not different for any major event in any asset, whether it's a news story or a fundamental story that people know is coming up. People will buy the hype into something, and it will, because of that, you have retail come in the tail end, which really drives price up. They end up being exit liquidity only for prices to come down and reset and then give the smart buyers. That's you. That's me. That's what we're going to be in this cycle. We're going to be smart buyers. We are not hype cycle buyers. But even still, we had this basically pump and then a 42 or 43% sell-off through the halving. We have not gotten any sort of sell-off like that in this cycle. In this full bullish trend, we've had about an 18 to 22% pullback on all of these big pullbacks that we've gotten. We haven't gotten anything above 30%. Will we get 40%? We'll see. The market is more mature now. There is more money in it, sure. But that also means that there's more catalysts, especially with the bigger players that are involved, to push things around. So I would argue we'll get somewhere between 30 and 45%. It's going to depend on what the catalyst is for that downtrend that really starts cascading to the downside. Now, looking back here, where we at? Back here on Bitcoin, this blue marker is that area we are looking for. This is that area that we're looking for because this is marked. Look at this on this uptrend right here. When we broke out, this acted as support until we lost it. Even though we lost it, we still resolved to the upside. So don't be upset or bearish or, oh my God, we lost that line, because we may have something similar to this right here. So what would that look like? Coming down somewhere in here and curving across, finding support somewhere here between the $33,000 and $36,000 level. Remember, this would mean that there is an incredible opportunity coming up to buy things cheaper. And we've also seen, if we come, let me come over here. Let's go back to TradingView. Now I'm going to open up a different chart subset. Ooh, look at Ethereum is pumping right now. Yeah, we're going to be going into Ethereum here in a second. I wanted to cover this specifically on this stream, but I want to come here to trad markets. And I want you to just look at the dollar index right now with all the news that has come out lately. The dollar has been pushing up. Interestingly, as the dollar's been pushing up since December 28th, let's see what's going on. Okay, December 28th, push up, consolidation, and then push up the last, since the 11th. Isn't this crazy? Since the 11th, the day of the decision of, in the implementation of the Bitcoin spot ETFs, the dollar has been rising. And at the same time, what are we seeing on the charts? Since the 11th, see, we've been going down. The dollar has been rallying while Bitcoin, is it suffering or is it giving you a better opportunity to buy? That's the trade. Don't be mad that your asset in the specific pairing that you have isn't going up in your favor. Say, how can I get this to be in my favor? You need to dominate the strategy. Don't let the market dominate your strategy. Does that make sense? So where we're at right now, this is not telling you it's going to go up or down, because we are chopping out this liquidity, because the most bullish portion of the cycle is coming. It's coming. It's right around the corner. And people are taking, market makers and smart money are taking advantage. They're taking advantage of that charged emotionality in the markets right now. Now, where it stands right now, if we push up into the zone, this 43.7, 43.7, I have no mouse. I'm using my trackpad. Basically 43.7 to 44,000. If we reject here, then I'm looking for some sort of chop in here before ultimately we come down and fill this gap, the 39.6, 38 to 39.6. 39.6 is a CME futures gap, but there's a huge amount of liquidity that's there that we have to pay attention to. But the question is, before we go any further, we got 177 people in the room. If you're into crypto, if you like what's going on, if you like community and positive, encouraging message on a daily basis, join us here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drive the engagement on this channel so YouTube shows us to more people. We're over 10,000 strong in under 1 year. So big love to each and every one of you here. Now we're going to continue on giving those tools, resources, charts, strategies, and mindset so we can dominate here on this market. So coming back over here, let me pull up the viewer activity so I don't miss any super chats. If you have anything specific you want me to look at, I just want to make sure I can see that since I'm not on my other setup. And by the way, join the membership here. Join us in there. We got some great emojis. We do some members content from time to time in here, and we just have a wonderful community. So definitely join us there. Now I wanted to look right here at the high block, and this was free. I'm showing you this because I could pull up high block, but I want to show you there's free resources out there. Follow the channels that have the types of tools that you like. They tend to share a lot of great stuff for free. In this case, we see the 12-hour liquidation heat map filtered on high leverage. So we can see right here, Binance, Bitcoin, 12 hours. We're seeing, look at these levels right here, very bright zones. These are high levels of liquidations. And we see this cleared out. See all this sort of color here, how it, once this is cleared, this becomes lighter. It's because it flushed out those liquidations. It forced closed longs. How do I know that? Because price is going down. So it's forcing closed longs, whether they're liquidated or forced closed before they're liquidated, they are closed. It's flushing out that leverage only to come back up. You see, testing these previous lows, comes back down, and then basically it's like knocks on the door, it comes down, relaxes a second, and then charges again and breaks through the door. Now what we have, this is showing that there's there's a decent amount of people that think that this rally is going to be a failed rally. This is a little bit of a bear trap to the downside. Now we're forming the secondary portion of that whipsaw. This something happens all the time when you have charged parts of the market. It's like this, flush out. Okay, come up here. Now flush out the longs. Now flush out the shorts. Chop a little bit, and then basically pick the direction that you want to go. This clears out the liquidity because it's free liquidity in the market so long as you can get the market, the narrative to push the price to those levels. In this case, look, we're pushing up into the zone. There's quite a bit of shorts up in this zone. So I expect if we do flush this out, it could give us a short-term lived pop in price to the upside, because if you close the shorts, that's going to send price very quickly higher. And remember, that's going to be one of those inefficiencies. And what happened to that? Came down and broke down and cleared out that inefficiency. Now, remember, we still have this inefficiency right here. So on this trap, if it were to be a bull trap coming to the upside, we'd also be doing the work of coming up and clearing some of this inefficiency and these candles just breaking down. Didn't stop anywhere along the way. Just shot right down. So looking at this, I'd be expecting, and now look at where this line is and looking where this box is right here. This is also in line. This zone right in here is in line with this wick that comes down. All these tops right here. You see this? All these tops over here. So coming up into the zone would be a perfectly reasonable thing to expect for a price to do. And then we can reassess. We see the stochastics coming up and getting weak. They're basically, the angle of attack is sort of weakening here. We do see a very sharp increase on the momentum wave here, but negative money flow. So sharp increase on the momentum bullishly, but negative money flow. These things do not compute. This means things are not in agreement. So price is moving up. We see the momentum tracking that moving up, but we also see stochastics starting to weaken while there's negative money flow. This is telling me this is likely going to be a failed rally. It doesn't mean it has to be, because we can very quickly swap this and have positive money flow, but we need a new narrative piece to drive that flip of the majority of the market to now start injecting money into the market. Because we already lost the momentum when we got rejected here at 49,000. That's partially because all the ETF stuff. But remember, we've been talking about this since January of last year. I was talking about the golden pocket from this zone right here, option F, top to bottom. And that golden pocket, if we zoom in right here, golden pocket, $48,000 to $50,000. Where did the price go? $49,000, right smack dab in the middle of that. So there's a technical story that was calling for a potential reversal a year before these ETFs were even being discussed in the mainstream news narrative. So you can see these different things, picking these different pieces of the puzzle together helps give you that narrative of what is most likely to happen. So let me go ahead and delete all these little, look at all these little things. I click on here all the time, not wondering why my tools aren't showing up. And it's because I have the brush tool on my thing and I can't tell. So I end up having dots all over my screen. So let's get down to the 1 hour. And double click on the right bar here. And see how this is all squished together? If you want to make it immediately easy to see, double click on that. Puts it in auto mode. Now, here's another dot. So where we're at right now, break down a little bit of chop. This is curving just a little bit. I'm expecting some attempt higher. Now, will we get here to 43.8 or will we get all the way up here to 44.6? Doesn't matter to me until there's something in here that tells me the narrative's different from this being a failed rally. If this still looks like similar sort of signals coming up into this zone, then I may be looking for an opportunity with a very small portion of my trading portfolio to take a short from here and potentially ride that down, accumulate some capital to keep in my, basically I would reallocate that to my dry powder when I take profits somewhere down in this region to then buy on spot price action. So that's what I'm seeing. Atropine says render TA. Maybe we'll do some render, but I want to talk about ETH. But before we do that, I have one more. This is that monthly chart on high block. For some reason my internet's not working now. You can do it if you really want to. Okay, it doesn't matter. It was just another version of the high block. It was showing you, you could see on this right here, this is showing you this area down at the 39.6 sort of zone. Huge amount of liquidations down in that zone. So if we do go down below the 39.6 into the 38, I think also there's a high likelihood that we may on a weekly time basis, on a weekly time frame, I don't know why this is not loading, on a weekly time frame, if we go down there, here we go. See right down here, 39.6 is this zone right here, right where that CME futures area is. Now, why would price go here? Because people are expecting the price. Why would this there be a lot of liquidations at this level? Because people are expecting a pullback at some point, and a great target for a potential buy is that CME futures area, especially for somebody that's not smart money. Because what happens at that area, if we get a very hot area like we're seeing on this chart right here, if the price does come down to this zone and they're able to push price beyond this threshold, then what that triggers is a cascading short, basically a short squeeze. And this essentially, long squeeze. This comes down and long squeezes this area right in here. My brain's backwards. I haven't eaten breakfast this morning. Comes down and squeezes all this liquidation, all these longs right in here, and essentially forces a cascading liquidation, which you get a very quick move to the downside. And the question's going to be within that, how strong are the bulls going to eat that up? Or is this going to make people lose confidence and give us that $33,000 metric? So what we're doing right now is looking at this and giving ourselves a roadmap of ideas of areas and levels and potentialities of what might happen. And then as price action starts to play out, something similar like one of these ideas that we've had about a potential price path, then we have our ideas of where to, how to interact with it, and also how not to be upset if price goes beyond where, say you bought here, you're trying to ride just above the CME futures gap, but then it flushes all the way down. It doesn't upset you. You have another opportunity to buy in down here and average your entry. So that's what I just wanted to talk about with that. Now, coming over here, make sure you're following BitLab Academy's Twitter page right here at Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet, hit that like, show some love. Now, coming over right here, leading up to the ETF. This is one of my favorite charts, and not a lot of people share this, but I love this because this is very simple. Trend accumulation by cohort. So different size wallet addresses. This is less than 1 Bitcoin, 1 to 10 Bitcoin, 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, and more than 10,000. When it's blue, this means they're accumulating. When it's red, this means they're distributing, selling. So what do we see right here? This is basically October through December. This is the end of October coming right here. You see this narrative. People are still kind of distributing across different wallet sizes. And then we get into a lot of the positive news narratives that were happening, and money managers that are actively involved or paying attention to Bitcoin, and retail that's been around. They say, hey man, the ETF is coming. The ETF is coming. And we get all different wallet cohorts of every size. The dominant narrative is buying. This is what all this blue means. But notice how this is sort of trickling out here. The narrative has been spent. The narrative has happened. The terminal date, meaning the date that the ETFs need to be approved, and then finally, when they're integrated and actually launched to be trading, has eclipsed right here, right towards the end. And we're seeing this as this has come across. Interestingly, these 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000 have been buying all along the way here. They know it's coming, but the really big accounts started kind of taking a little bit of profits, and then retail gets scared because we're scared little fishies. We say, oh my God, the price moved $100. I'm selling. Stop being a bit, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I was about to say. Have a strategy. Look to charts like this when the whales and the larger players are buying, and the 10 to 100. And you can see tends to be pretty good. And I've shared this before accumulations, before large moves. And we've gotten a large move. This move from October to now, this was a pretty large move. Let's see what that is. October, let's go to 8 hour. So October, this is October to now. That was 80% move in that accumulation, currently at about 60% up. So that's a pretty darn big move, especially for larger players, especially for people that have been in the game for a while, and also understanding that there's a likelihood that we're going to get some sort of halving sometime between now, halving, and maybe just post-halving sometime between now and the next 3 months, 4 months, some sort of 25 to 40% pullback. If that's the case, at least, even if it's not the case, people are expecting that broadly based on the historical trends. And even if they're not expecting that, they're saying, hey man, I bought, and just from October, I'm up 60 to 80%. Let's take some off the table and do exactly what I just said about that short that I was talking about. Take some off the table, wait for that pullback, because this is getting a little frothy, and we're seeing here on the momentum alone. You see how this is higher, a little bit lower, a little bit lower? Well, look where this first high is right here. So look where price is. And then here, the price is much higher, momentum's lower. Price is much higher, momentum's lower. This is showing a weakening into this zone. So there is a number of different things, let alone the profitability, that said people are probably taking some profit right here, regardless of anything that's going on with the ETF. So let's not be worried about it. Now let's talk about Ethereum. Where is it at? Money change, blah, blah, blah. Okay, one more thing. Mean exchange inflow flashes another near-term sell signal. Caution heading into the new week of ETF trading. So there are some, exchange inflows. So people preparing for the need to sell if and when they need to sell. So this is just something we should be paying attention to. Now, this is right here. So since this whole ETF narrative was released into the wild, remember we had the kerfuffle the day before with the false report from Gary Gensler and SEC. From that date, Ethereum is up 24.3% relative to Bitcoin since the fake announcement about the ETF approvals from the SEC hack. You see, this is from Caleb Franzen. Great chart, very simple. I'm really impressed that ETH BTC has been able to stabilize at these levels for the past 4 trading sessions after calling that it bottomed last week. Now, here's the deal. Look at this chart. Ask yourself, is there anything in this chart that signaled that there is a potential bottoming in effect and a potential or likely reversal could come out of this? Before this move, what on the chart is telling you, hey, are you looking for a win? It's a clue. That's this right here, double bottom, W formation, boom, 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 boom. Double bottom. And if that's not enough, you see the impulse here taking out not only the neckline of this W, which is where this rise is right here, this neckline, but also this previous range low and high right here. Came all the way up to above this zone here. So on this impulse up, on this retest down, this reversal point would have been an excellent spot to get into right here. Large impulse, you're not just trying to jump into a green candle. Pushes a little higher and then comes down and closes. And then right here on this sort of reversal here, this is where my entry would have been on this trade, ETH to Bitcoin. And look at this. This has just been kind of rounding up over here, but holding at these levels all the way down from 0.048 all the way up to 0.059. That's a pretty big move. This means Ethereum has been performing better, 24.3% better than Bitcoin. Now, why is this? Well, let's talk about that. Everybody's aware of the effect that the Bitcoin ETF conversation had on Bitcoin, all the different news pieces and the conversation topics and what the ETF could mean for Bitcoin, etc. And not only that, we see the price since June or July of last year have an incredible positive impact and sort of narrative push from Larry Fink and BlackRock getting into the Bitcoin spot ETF game, let alone the 11 or 14, whatever it is, other ETFs that now have also been approved. We saw the effect that had on Bitcoin. And the next thing on the agenda on these markets in this similar regard is the Ethereum ETF, which BlackRock filed for last year at some point. I can't remember the date, but their January 10th deadline, like we just had, that got all these ETFs approved for Bitcoin, is in May. So this is one of those conversational things where it's like, well, we got the Bitcoin spot ETF approved. We have another ETFs on the horizon just after the halving. Things should be pretty rolling at that point bullishly. So even with the kerfuffle in what was going on with Bitcoin, we see the impact of that already playing into the chart here. This does not mean Ethereum is only going to go up, up, and away, but it means that it's something that we absolutely need to watch. If we come over here and look at the Ethereum on-chain data, which, yes, you can look at on-chain data and do Ethereum too. Here's a price performance since the cycle low, similar to that halving chart I show you on Bitcoin all the time right here, showing you all of these basically lined on top of each other. 3 different cycles, seeing how price performs and where we're at relative in that cycle. Similarly, we can see this with, where did it go? We can see this with Ethereum. We're this blue line right here. We're the blue line right here. In the previous 2 cycles, from the low to the high, where we're at right now, does this make you, I want to see your comment down below. I want to see your comment in the live chat. Does this make you more or less bullish for Ethereum? Clearly, big things are coming to this market on multiple notes. On notes from previous cycle analysis, where we're at in relationship to Bitcoin and what's going on with the halving cycle, which always ushers in, has always ushered in, I should say, has always ushered in a bullish, huge bullish impulse in the market. In addition to that, the ETF that could be around the corner. Now, the question is Ethereum going to get the same nod of approval like Bitcoin did? It may get denied. Ethereum is different than Bitcoin. It has different mechanisms. It's proof of stake, not proof of work. It has staking involved. There's so many different things at play. There is, I'd say, much like James Seifert and Bloomberg also, JP Morgan, I believe, said as well, but about 50-50 shot. But I think, especially going into this election cycle year and crypto being more and more on the docket of conversation, it gets more and more likely. One of the biggest hindrances that could limit its ability to be passed in May is that they just spent, the last 6 months probably working harder than they've ever worked to get something done on an actual deadline. I'm talking about the SEC. And so I doubt there's been little, if any, full attention on the Ethereum spot ETF to potentially get that out at the deadline. But the narrative is going to be there. And so you need to pay attention to it. So coming back over here, let's looking at Ethereum on the chart. Looking at Ethereum, it is making its way. This is 1 hour chart. Look at this nice curvature, down, up, down, up. Now we have a higher low finally. You see this? We have a low. There is a higher low here, but we talk about candle bodies on the 1 hour here. See this? This is lower. You could argue it either way, but this is kind of rounding in the general shape here. And on the 1 hour, we see the price action. It's not on the chart. My bad. My bad. We can see this is the low I was talking about. Now we have a lower low and now a higher low. We also see the price action getting rejected here at the trend signal line, and then trying to find support here on this sort of EMA band, the 20 moving average EMA band right here. Loses it. Now rejection, 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 rejection. Now on the impulse back up, now we break above the 20 moving average. We get two bullish divergences right here. Let's get my mouse back over here. See, we got two bullish divergences right here. RSI bullish, momentum bullish. Now we have two more, the money flow and the on balance volume. So you have some stacking bullish behaviors happening in here. And not only that, look, this gave us that impulse to break through this trend signal line where we stop right here. We have a bit of a trend line that we created in here the other day. Go ahead and go like this. There we go. Came up here, and this line would not have been here at this point, right? Because as this was back here, coming up into this zone, this is when we create this. But we see the impulse up, and we're getting smaller candles into this zone. Smaller candles showing potential weakness here. And then what do? We break down, we lose all the trend signal line, everything, but we bounce right here on the weekly VWAP right here, this yellow line. Weekly VWAP bounces up, finds resistance again right here, break back down, and then now we broke above the weekly VWAP, the trend signal line, this trend line that we had created, and we're trading a little sideways here. We did have some bearish divergence, but it took us down minimally at all. Trading sideways, we get the impulse to the downside, reconfirming that this previous resistance is support. And then on this move back to the upside, look at this. Now we're testing these highs right over here, option J. We're testing these highs right here, the candle bodies right in here. So the question is going to be similarly to what we just saw in Bitcoin. My question is going to be on this. Do you guys think that Bitcoin is going to break away, have a weaker correlation? Sorry, if Ethereum is going to have a weaker correlation with Bitcoin going in to May, and all this narrative that the potentiality of Ethereum getting that ETF, that's going to be a question here. If for instance, if Bitcoin drops 20%, how is it going to affect Ethereum? Because Ethereum, here's the thing, Ethereum may fall too, but what we may see is that Bitcoin falls further relative to than Ethereum, in which case, if you're looking, for instance, at this chart right here, ETH, BTC, you could see both assets falling. You could really see both assets falling. And in the fact of them both falling, you could also see Ethereum rising on the ETH to Bitcoin chart. Because this is not looking at it in the dollar value. This is looking at Ethereum in the value of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is holding, sorry, if Ethereum is holding more resiliently on a fall, say Bitcoin falls 7% and Ethereum falls 4%, then this would also result in this chart going up, even though they're both going down in dollar value. We need to understand these things when we're charting so we understand the relative nature of this. Now we see right here on the ETH to Bitcoin chart, nice formation, push up. It's kind of consolidating a little bit right in this zone. Is this a zone anywhere? Yeah, look at this. Look at where this is. Guys, look left on your charts. Previous lows. Support right here. This is also where we broke down, found resistance, and then launched to the downside. Price action came right up into this same level. Now we're chopping around in this zone. Now, in this nature, we're seeing the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart start to round up like this. And we're also, what do we see right here? This is on the 4 hour. You see the momentum wave coming down, but this angle is on the BitLab Trend Fuel, part of the BitLab trading stack. You can see this rounding here looking like it's may consolidate for a little longer and then potentially work its way up. The strength is coming up. If we're looking at it like this, the money flow has been negative, but it's kind of chopping right in the zone. It's waiting for a news narrative, maybe another Ethereum spot, huge story, or who knows what it's going to be. But we're getting mixed signals still. Very bullish, but we're getting some bearishness in the short term right here on the 4-hour chart. So let's be a little patient and let's go back over to that other chart. So where we're at right now, what are we looking for? Where we're at right now, we're looking for this area right here, $25.80, $10 above us. Why? Previous high of this range right here. Similarly, I want you to notice we have all these lows over here. So we have this sort of range that we want to really pay attention to, $25.80 to $25.90 essentially, which is this high and these lows over in this zone. So this is going to be a point of contention. If I had to guess, we'd probably push into this, reject some, test some levels, and then continue up if it's going to continue up. So let's watch this 25.80, because if we take that out, the next level up is likely somewhere up here in the 26.16. And if we break through this, I think we'll be testing up here into the up into this zone. But we need to let this play out because things are a little tense right now with all the flows on Bitcoin. People are still kind of waiting where to put the capital. Is Bitcoin about to run? Is all this ETF sort of uncertainty about to be solved? But if this does get rejected and come down, we really want to watch this level. This is basically the $2,500 level, $2,500 level. And then it's, you know, this sort of zone in here, because if we lose, especially this order block, then I think there's going to be further downside that we can talk about, which is going to be, you know, coming down even further than that. Let me see. Yeah, 24. And then likely down, testing in this sort of chop range down here in the $22 to $2,300. But I'm on the more bullish case. I'm just looking down there to see the levels, but we see this impulse, falling channel. Falling channels tend to break bullish. We've broken bullish. Now watch for a potential test to the downside, like a retrace, not a breakdown. And then we could talk about that further upside. Now, as it stands right now, option F, we go all the way, let's say it gets all the way up in here. The golden pocket is right here at that 25.32 level, which is kind of in this range. Now, that's if it gets all the way down there. I think if we do reject down and it's going to continue going, this price action will come down and test here at the 382, the 25.50, 25.50 sort of zone. So let's pay attention to this. We got a lot of stuff on the docket for what's coming to these markets. A lot of, you know, uncertainty and in the short term, but everybody's waiting on this deadline right here. Not deadline, but the 210,000 blocks to halving, where we're going to be at with the capital flows on the ETFs, where we're going to be at with movement on the Ethereum ETF potentially advancing, where are we going to be at with the sentiment of the market as a whole. But as it stands right now, I couldn't tell you how absolutely bullish I am for all these things moving forward. So shout out to everybody that's here. I want to see roll call right now. What did you learn today? What are you excited about? What are you grateful for? Let's make this, remember, this is not just crypto. We got to be positive. We got to encourage each other. We got to hold each other accountable to be in the right frame of mind. And I hope I can do that for all of you in some aspects. So make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, dinging the bell, and make sure if you want to learn about this stuff, head over to bitlabacademy.com. We have full courses teaching this stuff. And remember, these courses are broken down into like 5 to 9 minute videos, each specific topic, each specific type of candle, each type of pattern, different trading strategies, different indicators, RSI, stochastics, Bollinger Band, all, as well as the BitLab trading stack. If you want to use our indicators, come right here to indicators on bitlabacademy.com. Get our indicators. We got all the stuff in here. We got a bit of a walkthrough here on these indicators. And, you know, remember, when we're looking at these, I don't know why this came up like that, but boom, we've got, turning off all this stuff, we've got the BitLab volume, the BitLab trend fuel down here. This shows you money flow, RSI, stochastics, momentum, also divergences. Up here, we also have high volume, stopping volume, these key sort of trend signals right here. See how it's red, and until we flip into a bullish trend, immediately flips green, gives you a signal. Dynamic support zone all through here. Bearish divergences. We have so much. And of course, these order blocks that are part of the BitLab volume, as well as the volume ranges per price level, how much volume is traded at each particular price level. Telling you guys, get involved with the BitLab trading stack. You can also get BitLab Academy all access in addition to the indicators right here. It's click and roll, click sign up for BitLab Pro. and you get all in one. And by the way, we have so much great stuff in the Discord. John Dalton just been sharing straight fire lately, always does. Souls, he's breaking down the soul charts here, talking about what he's looking for and certain levels that he's watching. He has them marked out here. He's also talking about where a potential entry he's looking for is. We got Rune on here. This is nonstop on a daily basis. Chart VIP charts. Corduroy always sharing great stuff as well. I'm sharing stuff in here. In fact, the other day, where's it at? The other day I broke down right here. I broke down showing exactly why I thought Ethereum, this was a very small time frame chart, showing why I was taking a short and all the different signals as to what was indicating to me why the price was breaking down. This is all in the BitLab Academy Discord, part of the Academy. So whether or not you need the courses or not, get in here into the Discord, this premium Discord. We have a great community. That's all. I just want to see you all succeed. And I do want to share this before we go. Positivity. Great story here. I saw on my Facebook. Just had to share it. I said, let's push each other to the finish line. Let's be a community. Let's find honor in our actions, and let's be better for ourselves and for everyone else. Read this story, find new inspiration, and let's grow together. Essentially, these two runners were running in a race. And this, I think it was Nigerian, this Nigerian man, Kenyan man basically got towards the end of the race, thought he had finished it and stopped and was kind of confused because he couldn't read the signs. And a Spanish racer came up behind him, and rather than just running by and winning the race, he went up and he helped him. He's like, no, you got to keep going here. And he basically pushed him across the finish line. And essentially right here, this is beautiful. So, I have to read this to you. Fernandez pushed Mutai, blah, blah, blah. The reporter, here we go. The reporter insisted, why didn't you let the Kenyan win? Ivan replied, I didn't let him win. He was going to win. The race was his. The reporter insisted and asked again, but you could have won. Ivan looked up at him and replied, but what would be the merit of that victory? What would be the honor of this medal? What would my mother think of it? What values do we teach through our example? Let's help each other to cross the finish line. Let's pass on the beauty of humanity and of a helping hand. Everyone can make a difference. One book, one pen, one child, one teacher, one change in the world. One action can cause a ripple effect. Be the change you want to see. Be the start of a positive change. And I mean that, everybody. We have a chance in every moment to be kind or to be mean. We have a chance in every moment to forgive ourselves. We have a chance in every moment to forgive our mother or our father or our sister who did us so. I can't believe they did that. Let it go. Love them. Forgive. Because it's usually those things that we didn't forgive that makes us be mean to others. Because we haven't yet forgiven our family and our close circle and ourselves. So then why the hell would we forgive a stranger for stepping on our foot or cutting us off? Well, remember, nobody actually ever cuts you off in traffic. They just happen to be changing lanes and you happen to be there behind them. So let's all be more positive. Let's find gratitude in everybody we meet. Let's look for positive things that we can focus our energy on. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Hit that like button for love and appreciation and community. And that's all I got for you today. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in.